Let us observe the prices of these three objects in a city. So in a city, we know that a pencil costs 11 rupees. Price of an apple is 20 rupees, whereas a bicycle costs 1010 rupees. So these are the prices that are given for a city. Now, if I look at these same objects and try to find their prices in a village, so these are the prices of these objects, the same objects given to me for a village. So in a village, this pencil costs 1 rupee, the apple costs 10 rupees, whereas a cycle costs 1000 rupees. So what do you see? These are the prices in the city. These are the prices of these objects in the village. Now, if I want to compare these two prices, how can I do that? We already know that we can compare two things or two prices by difference. So I can do the comparison by difference. So let me try to compare the prices of the two by difference. So this would be 11 minus 1, which is 10 rupees. Again, here I would get 20 minus 10. That is price in the city minus price in the village, which is again rupees 10. In the third case, price in the city for a cycle was 1010, whereas in the village it was for 1000 rupees. So again this would be 1010, that is price in the city minus price in the village, which is again rupees 10. So what we observe is that in each case the difference is rupees 10. Now there's one more way in which I can compare the prices of these two, that is by division. I can also use division to compare the prices. Let us see how we can do that. So by division I can say, if I divide the price of the city by the price of the village, I would get 11 by 1, which is nothing but 11. Then dividing the price of the city and village here would give me 20 by 10, which is 2. Again, dividing the price of the city by the price of the village, I get 1010 by 1000, which is 1.01. So this is what I get if I compare the prices of the two by division. Now, if I compare two objects of the same type by division, I call this comparison as ratio. Now, why do we have ratio when we could already compare things by difference? Well, you can clearly observe here that difference in each case is the same, which is 10. That says that price in the city is 10 rupees more than the price in the village. Again, that says that price in the city is again 10 rupees more than the price in the village. And for the third case too, I get rupees 10, which is that the price of the cycle in the city again is 10 rupees more than the price of the cycle in the village. But if you look at the ratio now, what does the ratio tell me? If I divide the two, I get 11. That means that in a city this pencil costs 11 rupees, but if I go with the same amount in the village, I can buy 11 such things. Again, 20 rupees for just an apple in the city, but with this same money, I can buy 2 apples in the village. Similarly, if you look at the bicycle, it is 1.01, which is closely equal to 1 only. So that is, there's not much of a difference. With this same amount, you cannot buy another cycle there in the village. It is almost 1. This 10 rupees here is not making much difference. So what we observe is, with ratios, we get a better idea or better scenario of the ratio, or we can compare it in a much better way. Though we can compare it by difference too, which is the same in all these three cases. But ratio is giving me a better understanding of the prices in city and village. So now we've seen that in village the apple was for 10 rupees, whereas in the city it costed 20 rupees. That is, it is twice the amount in the village. So this can be written as by ratio. If I divide it, price in the city divided by price in village. So price in the city is 20 rupees. Price in the village is 10 rupees. So 20 divided by 10, which is 2. Hence I can say it is twice. Now I can write this thing, which is comparison by division, as ratio. So I can say that ratio of price in this city to the price in the village is nothing but 20:10. And 20:10 as a ratio, I can represent this as 20:10. So this is to can be notated by this symbol. This is the notation for this word, which is to. So I say 20:10. So this is how a ratio is written. So I can say that ratio of price in the city of apples to the price of apples in the village is 20:10. So this is what I get now. Now the first term in the ratio is known as antecedent, whereas the second term is called the consequent. So this is the first term, which is the antecedent, which is telling you the price of apples in city, the first term. The second term is consequent, which is telling you the price of the apples in village. So we have the ratio of price of apples in the city to village as 20:10. Now this ratio we know can be expressed as division, because we got a ratio from division only. So this is 20/10. Now if you observe, this division is nothing but a fraction. When we already had fraction, why did we introduce ratio at all? Why did we need ratio when we had fractions to represent division? Let us look at this now. Let us say there's a school in which there's class 8th, which has 20 students. Now out of those 20 students, there are 12 boys and 8 girls. So total students in class 8th would be 12 boys plus 8 girls, which is 20, the strength of the class. Now, if I want to find the strength of boys in the class, I can say that number of boys is 12 and total students in the class is 20. So I can find the fraction of boys, that is by division. I can say that fraction of boys in the class would be 12 divided by 20. That is, if there are 20 students in a class, 12 of those 20 are boys. Now similarly, I can find the fraction of girls also in the class. I know that number of girls in the class is 8. Total students in the class 8 are 20. So fraction of girls would be 8/20. That is, if I divide my class into 20 parts, or if there are 20 students, 8 of those would be girls. That is the fraction of girls in the class. So this is what I get. Fraction of boys in class, fraction of girls in the class, which is 12/20 and 8/20. Now these fractions is nothing but division of two numbers, which we know can be expressed as a ratio also. So by ratio, I can write it as 12:20, 8:20. What is this representing? This tells me the number of boys, which is 12:20. 20 is the total number of students in class 8th. So 12:20, that is 12 boys in 20 students. Here we have 8:20, that is 8 girls in every 20 students. So this is what I have got, comparing boys and girls, strength of the boys and strength of the girls in both fractions and ratios. Now can I compare these two parts, that is boys and girls? Now by ratio I can simply say that ratio of boys to girls is 12:8. So ratio of boys to girls is 12:8. Now I can write this as a fraction also, which is 12/8. Each ratio can be expressed as a fraction. But will this fraction make sense? What does this mean? If I divide it into 8 parts, 12 of those parts are boys. Boys to girls. What will this actually mean? Or what can I say? 12 boys to 8 girls? So this fraction, I cannot read this fraction. So though I can express this ratio as a fraction, which is I can write this as 12/8, but this fraction 12/8 does not make sense in the sense you cannot read this fraction. Though every ratio can be expressed as a fraction, you cannot read every fraction. So what we see is that fraction is nothing but a specific case of ratio in which you are comparing only a part to whole. So fractions are used when we have to compare some part to the whole, that is boys to the whole class or girls to the whole class. But when it comes to comparing two parts, which is boys and girls, then fractions should not be used. You should use ratios there because they make more sense when you compare two parts of a whole. So two parts, comparing two different parts, we use ratios, whereas fractions are used only to compare a part to whole. Now, ratios can be used to compare two parts. Also, what we see is that ratios have to be used to compare quantities of the same kind, which is here weights of people, or you can say heights of people, or you can say here we are comparing money, that is saving and expenditure. Now remember that quantities have to be of the same kind. You might wonder that we've just compared boys to girls. Well, remember that there we were comparing number of boys to number of girls. So in both cases, boys and girls, they're not different quantities because we were comparing the number. So number of quantity is the same, number of boys to number of girls, and hence we could compare the two. So now can you compare the sizes of Vikram and Raju? Well, you can see that Vikram is 5 feet tall, whereas Raju is 50 kgs in weight. So we are trying to compare height of one person to the weight of another person. This is not possible by ratios. So we cannot use ratio to compare quantities of different kind. This is height, this is weight. I cannot do that. I can either compare two heights or I can compare two weights, but not height and weight, not different kinds. So now let us try to compare two weights. So that is weight of the ice cream and weight of Raju. So weight of the ice candy and weight of Raju. We know ice candy is 100 grams in weight and Raju is 50 kgs. So now let's try to compare these. So the ratio would be, so if I want to find the ratio of weight of ice candy to Raju, that would be ice candy is 100 grams to Raju, which is 50 kgs. This is what I get. So this would be, again, I can express this as division, which is 100 by 50. This is nothing but 10 by 5, which is again 2 by 1. So this, again, division 2 by 1 can be written as ratio, which is 2 is to 1. So this is what I get. That ratio of weights of ice candy to Raju is 100 is to 50, which is 2 is to 1. So this is what I get. This implies that ice candy is actually twice the weight of Raju. Is that true? Well, obviously not. Do you think that ice candy is double the size of Raju? Clearly not. Ice candy is much smaller than Raju here. So what is the problem? Why is it so that we are getting that ice candy weighs twice the weight of Raju? Why is it so? What is the problem? Well, if you clearly observe, carefully observe the difference. Here I have grams and here I have kgs. So even though I was comparing weights of two people, what I did is I've compared grams and kgs. So when we compare quantities of the same kind, what we have to make sure is that the unit is also the same. Here the units are not the same. This is grams and kgs. So we have to make the unit also the same. So we have to compare quantities of the same kind only. And the second thing is that when you are comparing the quantities of the same kind, the unit also has to be the same. So now let's make the unit same. Normally what we do is we express the larger quantity in terms of the smaller unit. So this is kgs. I'll express this in terms of grams. So 50 kgs is nothing but 50 times 1 kg. And here I can write We know 1 kg is equal to 1000 grams. So I can write 1 kg as 1000 grams. Now this gives me 50,000 grams. So now I can find the ratio of weight of the ice candy to the ratio of weight of Raju. So let's do that. So weight of ice candy is 100 grams. Weight of Raju is 50,000 grams. So ratio of weights of ice candy to Raju would be ice candy 100, 2 is to Raju, which is 50,000. Now this is, ratio means you can express it as a fraction or as division, which is 100 by. So this is cancelling the two zeros. I get 1 by 500, which can be written again as a ratio, which would be 1 is to 500. So I get 1 is to 500. That means weight of Raju is 500 times more than the weight of the ice candy. Now which looks true, which is now proper. That is, does not weigh twice Raju, but in fact what we get is, after converting it into same units, which is the correct way, we get that Raju weighs 500 times more than the ice candy.